Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Mad Hatter logging back in. The time is 6:04 p.m. It is February 27th, 2017. And I want to talk not too much about the Oscars in particular, but the movie Zootopia, which won Best Animated Picture or Animated Film during the Oscars. Now, if you don't know what this film is about, it's about these animals who have become more evolved than humans, and they've kind of created this utopia, hence the name Zootopia. You got different kind of animals, who have, certain animals might hold, certain positions within within the society. It's a very deep movie in the sense that it has a lot of parallels to this world. Um, but one of the biggest things about this movie, which is why I'm surprised that it did well and it didn't get more flack, is because it talks about a lot of different biases and stereotypes. It talks about gender stereotypes. It talks about racial stereotypes and prejudice and racism and sexism and all that stuff, right? So, for instance, uh, again, if you don't know too much about the movie, I haven't seen the movie myself, but I've heard a lot about it. I've read some reviews. People say good things about it, but the main thing is that there's this bunny rabbit who is a police officer, and she's the stereotype with that is that she's supposed to be like this soft, delicate creature, like what the stereotype is of women. And so she's not really supposed to be in the police force. They want her to become or stick with doing ticketing and metering and all that stuff. They don't want her to move up and become a detective and get those kind of higher profile roles. And then you've got some of the other people who are in the higher profile roles, but they are animals that are considered savage by society. I don't have the specifics, but I saw some clips and stuff. You have bulls and wolves, just sort of animals that are more predatory by nature. Now, the interesting thing about this movie is that, it talks a lot about the racial biases that happen today in the police department, and it talks about the complexities, which is why I like this movie from what I've heard, is because I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is, liberal propaganda, don't watch the movie. But it actually talks about, a lot of complications. Like, for instance, there are these, again, these predatory type animals, and they have to now, use force or, they have to go after people of their own kind, as police officers. And sometimes the system, hurts their community. It hurts their own kind. Like for instance, with blacks and Latinos and people of Middle Eastern descent, brown people, people of color, this Western system, the American system, is not particularly made for us, right? So how do you feel? How does a police officer who's black or who's a woman feel? Exerting force, for instance, on people of color. Like, how do those black police officers feel? Seeing all these black people get shot and then it's nothing. There's no trial, or if there is a trial, they get the police officer who did that gets off. How does that make you feel as a black person? How does that make you feel as a female officer when you see a male officer, grabbing genitals of another woman or sexually assaulting her? What do? Because if you step up and say something, you get fired. We all know about the thin blue line or whatever it's called. You know, but I'm glad this movie did well, and I'm glad it was done in such a way that people really weren't able to pick up on it as much. I give it some time before people, conservatives and really racist people, white, black, whatever, racist people really jump on this and say don't watch it. But I think you guys should watch it. I think it's a well done movie, and I'm glad to see movies like this get a lot of attention, especially in such a pivotal time in the U.S. when racial, sex and gender issues are at their highest, and it shows again the complexities. Like these are complex issues. Like for instance, really quick, there's like the bunny rabbit, or there are the people who are who have the system on their side, like white males generally have the system on their side, but that doesn't mean that every white male is racist, right? And some of them struggle seeing a lot of these racist laws and these prejudices bleed into their profession. A lot of these people get into the policing and into the profession, trying to do well, but then they mean well, but the way that the system is made up is it's a dirty system, and it's a dirty, not that everybody in there is dirty, but you know what I'm saying. It's gritty, so it takes a lot out of you, and you come in there with high hopes and ambitions, but you don't always leave that way. So I really have a lot more to say about this movie, but I don't want this video to get too long. Let me know what you guys think. Have you seen the movie? What did you think about the movie? Yeah, and leave a comment. I'll catch you guys next time.